Hello. Welcome to the final UCare module, module number 12. At the beginning of the UCare project, we introduced ideas about the gifted and talented students who live in your classrooms. We helped you see that gifted and advanced readers from poverty and second language learning situations may show different learning styles and behaviors. Recently, the National Association for Gifted Children journal, Gifted Child Quarterly, provided updated information about the gifted and talented students from Title I classrooms. There are several articles in this January 2018 issue that are worth paying attention to. The first one, Disentangling the Roles of Institutional and Individual Poverty in the Identification of Gifted Students, shares ideas about how we might find these students in our classrooms. It will probably be of no surprise to many of you the important role that schools play in influencing student outcomes. As this slide points out, school environment, particularly one where there are lower teacher expectations, where the curriculum is mundane, where there is staff turnover every year, and where a school has limited resources to meet the needs of the variety of students at the school, can have a negative effect on student growth. The impoverished conditions from which a child may come are compounded when a school is also impoverished. Inequities in school funding create a double whammy that works against poor students. As shared with us at the beginning of UCare, many of the free and reduced lunch students in your classrooms may not have been considered for advanced learning opportunities. Without adequate training, especially regarding the needs of gifted students from poverty or second language situations, teachers have been shown to have lower expectations for these students. We also found out early in our grant that teachers' values and biases can contribute to a disparity in learning opportunities. Talk with your colleagues about how your attitudes have changed regarding these students from the beginning of the grant until now. Article number 2, Integrating the Intersection of Poverty and Gifted Education Journals, a 15-year analysis, continues the discussion about the learning needs of students in Title I schools. Nearly every article in the journal pointed out that students who live in poverty aren't always given the opportunity they need to participate in advanced learning. As you look at this slide, have a conversation about the factors that help make it more likely these students are successful in getting into a GT program and also in sustaining their ability to do advanced work. In Poverty, Academic Achievement and Giftedness, a literature review, the authors Paula Oshusky-Kubulius and Susan Kortwith summarize the research about gifted students in Title I schools. As you look at this first slide, do any of these numbers surprise you? What does the data from your school show? How does it compare to these numbers? Let's take a look at what the summary of studies on identification and program models show us. The first item indicates that if you give all of the students universal screening and IQ test, you will find more of these students. We know that because of limited funding, it would be impossible to give all of your students an IQ test. However, in the UCare Careful Consideration Method, you were taught to look at all of your students in your classroom, particularly those from high poverty or second language situations, as potential participants in advanced learning experiences. As you look carefully at your own students, many of you use this new information to choose students from these populations to participate in UCare. The next article gives us ideas about what we need to do to narrow the educational gap for advanced and gifted students. One of the concepts this article talks about is called the excellence gap. Since the initial passing of the No Child Left Behind Act in 2001, the focus of many schools has been to narrow the K-12 achievement gaps. This has largely meant schools have worked to bring a larger proportion of students in underperforming groups to a basic level of achievement. What we know, however, is that there exists a group of students for whom this focus has been problematic. In an NAGC position statement titled Addressing Excellence Gaps in K-12 Education, it is stated, schools have not addressed gaps between groups of students at advanced levels of achievement, commonly referred to as excellence gaps. These excellence gaps are found in every state and on national assessments of math and reading. Yet, in spite of the implications for the nation, they have received almost no attention. Further, efforts to close achievement gaps at minimum levels of proficiency have no effect on reducing excellence gaps, raising doubts about the effectiveness of current education policies and practices in providing greater and more equitable education opportunities that develop the talents of all students. A link to the entire position statement can be found on Canvas under Module 12. The ideas on this slide give us clues as to what needs to be considered in order to help move the bar towards excellence for these students. First, in the UCare model, we gave you many strategies needed to extend learning for these students, perhaps beyond what our previous expectations for them have been. Whether you are helping them choose a book that enables them to tackle something more rigorous, or using the SEM bookmarks to extend their learning, giving realistic opportunities for these students to learn new information is key. In addition, ability grouping, the specifics of which were outlined in the UCare Developmental Implementation Guide, or DIG, being accountable for all students' learning, providing teachers opportunities to learn the strategies that work with advanced and gifted students, and providing students the social and emotional support necessary as they face new challenges are ways that we can help close the excellence gap. One concept that we focused on in the Jacobs Ladder program is sometimes called front-loading. As you already know, scaffolding learning experiences from more simple content and processes to more advanced content and processes help students move step by step towards deeper levels of thinking and doing. The final article by Dr. Joyce Van Tassel-Baska probably provided the most cogent ideas about how to unlock potential in students from Title I schools. We started the UCare program with information about the characteristics of the advanced and gifted readers in your classroom. This article takes you back and also extends your learning by sharing additional information about the characteristics of students from low-income families. Take a look at the list on this slide and then the next one. Think about the advanced and gifted readers with whom you have been working this year. Which characteristics listed on this slide have you seen in these students? Take 3 to 5 minutes to do that and then move forward. Read the ideas on this slide and the next slide. These last 2 slides provide the focus for what we are going to do in the second and final UCare video. We will be using these as a way to bring everything we have done in UCare back into focus. In addition, we will give you suggestions about how to sustain the work you have begun after UCare ends.